White women love black men because of the power dynamic, because white women have never had any power over men in their lives. Because obviously all the white men in their lives have always had all the power over them. So white women have whiteness over black men. And obviously to be in any sort of like control feels good, especially when you're used to never being in control. White women feel safe with black men, not only because of the hypermasculinity that they believe black men exhibit, but because of the whiteness and power they hold over black men. This is why also white women can still be racist and be with black men. And be like conservative white women will be like married to a black man. And this is why white women love their black sons and hate their black daughters. Black sons give you access to the patriarchy. They give you power, whereas black daughters don't.
Very interesting perspective, even though she doesn't look fully white herself. But I don't know her. Maybe you guys know her. But before we get into it, it's your guy, JR Wisdom. Guys, hit that like and subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all of my future videos that contain content like this. So this is a conversation that rarely comes from the white side of things. And I'm not just making this video to be about race and so on and so forth, but these things do occur. And the majority of times you tend to see these things happening. People have preconceived notions of the motivations behind said white woman, especially a high earning or a high value black man, why she would choose to be with that type of black man, as opposed to a black man who really doesn't have much. Which we have stereotypes for those type of men as well. Either she's strung out, and I'm just being honest from what we see, either she's strung out on drugs, she's homeless, she's addicted to something, or she's a heavy BBW that tend to be with lower pookies and the lower earning black men. And that's what we see a lot. They tend to be walking and things like that, or she's taking care of the brother. But on the other end of the spectrum, you do have some of these, what some would consider top-notch white women that end up with these high-earning black men. And a lot of the sisters have issues with that, and you wonder why. You know, is it because the black man, is it because of the whole thing of a white woman being kryptonite? And when I'm saying this, I'm talking about within America. But it seems like when it comes to these things in Europe or even in Africa, it's completely different as opposed to in America. Is it kryptonite? Is it the black man's kryptonite in terms of being with a white woman? Does he feel, is he more submissive if he's a high earner to a white woman, or she has authority over him when he's a high earner, as opposed to if he was with a black woman? Is she more submissive? Is there some manipulation at play going on here? Because the whole thing, we get it. This is the whole feminist movement that went on. We talk about this a lot, right? How white women, it was obviously started by, liberal white women wanting to feel like they have some sort of say so, because they've always been under the heel of their white husbands, which they can say that they were being oppressed and things like that, which is something that's very odd and strange. But they want to, fill the ranks and things like that by, saying, hey, you guys come join in. Hey, you guys come join in. We're all under the oppression of man, which is some BS. Now, what I find to be, she's like, which is very interesting, which I would like to hear, from a white woman's perspective, but they'll just say, hey, you like what you like. But what kind of guys did you date in high school? What's your history of dating? Or is this the first black man that you came across? Because she was speaking in terms of having access to the patriarchy, which many black scholars and people will say that once a black man marries, or any man, once he marries the opposite race or another race, then that race or that family can get access to his inheritance. Hence why it's so important for, outside of just, maybe racism or bigotry, why it's important for a white woman to marry another white man, because when she marries a black man, in her case, if she's well-to-do and she was to perish and expire, her wealth would in turn go to him, and or the family's wealth would in turn go to him, especially if she is an heiress, i.e. A Paris Hilton or someone along those lines. I mean, we could talk about the Kardashians and things like that. Same thing, she's half white, but the inheritance would go to a black man, but especially if he's not a high earner like the husband would be. Men marry down a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Women don't typically marry down, and that's just how it is. Men don't really care about that. But in this case of a woman who's, you know, well off, comes from a wealthy family, is she really going to marry a black man or deal with a black man or get pregnant by a black man that can't really, that's not on equal playing field or less? You know what I mean? So these are concerns. But what you said, which I never really thought of, about she'll be happy for the black son, but she'll despise the daughter because of the son having access to the patriarchy as opposed to the black daughter not being able to. You know what I mean? Which in turn, I'm assuming what she's saying is that if she has a half white daughter, you know, outside of Meghan Markle or a situation like that, if she has a black daughter, the black daughter is not really going to be able to get a white man, as opposed to the son, you know, having that instance of power and things like that. But it's a very, very interesting conversation to be had, in the psychology behind it and what is taught and behind closed doors and within families that you never even know of, the conversations that go on. But I'm pretty sure the conversations are, which for the things that are allowed for an outstanding athlete or a Wall Street broker, if you will, or someone in the financial industry, or a restaurateur, whatever you want to call it, or just a serial businessman that's a very high earner, to basically keep the family name, even if she does have to have some kids, will give that family access to the wealth. Which there's a different dynamic which people talk about, but you know, you got the likes of Umar Johnson and other scholars who say that once you marry the opposite, and even I think Tariq Nasheed spoke about this, once you marry another race, especially as a man, that wealth will go to another race instead of keeping it within your race, which is a thought process as well. You know, but that power, with the racism still within a relationship, will she pull that card when times get hard, or does she pull that card behind closed doors? Or is she going to be sympathetic to whatever is going on with your race and things like that? Or is it just strictly a business move? You know, at the end of the day, she brought up the hyper masculine part of it too as well, which I find to be interesting. She feels more secure. Why does she feel more secure with the black man? Is it because she knows that he's going to do everything to cater to her, everything in his power to be with her? You know, all of these different things that she probably would figure that he wouldn't cheat, as opposed to a white man. You're just another white woman to him, you know, and you'll be ignored. You're just there to have kids and shut up, which has been the deal for a lot of wealthy white men throughout the centuries. You're just here to have kids and shut up and take care of the house. So I don't know. Very interesting conversation from her to say that. And for the white women, comment below if you dare. I like to hear it. Fellas, if you're married to or if you're dealing with a white woman, let me know how that goes or how that's going. And if you've ever experienced something like that, or if you've gotten that from dating a white woman. I've never dated a white woman, so I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you guys, you know, how that situation is. But I'd be interested to know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree if you guys are trying to book a session with yours truly, ladies, fellas. You know, if you're looking for some advice, hit me up on there. Also, I'm doing YouTube consultations. If you're looking to build your channel, expand your channel, know how to do video editing, things like that, make sure you book a session. I got you. Make sure you guys purchase my books and merch through Linktree as well. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back. Much blessings and abundance to you all. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and for rocking with me. And listen, this is wisdom. Peace be upon you all. And I'm going to see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
It's God's beat maker.
And I don't know. I will put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto youth